Yeah, it is. It's regular order, I think. Regular order, regular order. Hey, Monty, how you doing? Everybody here? Morning. Morning. Since President Trump took office, this Congress has sent 29 bills to his desk. That is the most for a president's first 100 days in office since 1949. Nearly half of these measures are measures to take excessive regulations off the book so we can grow this economy. After years of workers and industries bracing for the next regulatory onslaught, all the unpredictability that has been coming with that, we are providing relief for energy jobs, for small businesses, for retirees. It has been estimated that the steps we have taken with this administration will save families and businesses more than $67 billion. That is real relief, and that promotes real economic growth. We've been trying to cut red tape for years, and now it's finally happening at record levels. Also to promote job creation. The president has signed bills making it easier for women to pursue STEM careers and to become entrepreneurs. To help our veterans, the president has signed a bill to lower out-of-pocket costs and to take steps toward fundamental VA reform, very much in need. We're going to keep building on this record. Right now, we are working on a government funding bill that addresses some of the country's core priorities, including strengthening our national defense. Last week, I was in Europe visiting some of our key NATO allies, and across the board, allies are ready to see America step up and lead again. A big part of that is rebuilding our military, which is something that we're in the middle of doing right now. We're also working to fix our tax code. Today, the administration will outline its principles for pro-growth tax reform, which is a critical step forward in this effort. Pro-growth tax reform means that we will have lower rates, we will have a simpler tax code with fewer brackets, and we will have an IRS that exists only to serve the taxpayer. And we will continue to work to keep our promise to repeal and replace Obamacare so that we can lower costs and create more choices for families. We have undertaken some very big reforms to tackle entrenched problems. There is a lot of work left to do, but under the president's leadership, this unified government has made a solid start. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome back to many of you. As the Speaker talked about, those bills that have moved to the President's desk prior to this Congress, only one time has the Congressional Review Act ever made it all the way to the President's desk and been signed. We have passed 15 inside this House. 13 of those have been signed into law to create, one, job creation, but at the same time to bring common sense regulation back to this country. Some of the actions that we're taking and building on just today, I know many of you watched last night the swearing in of a new member of Congress, Ron Estes from Kansas. Also, we'll take up one from copyright position. Very important position to have over at the Library of Congress, focusing on the future of copyrights and others. We'll vote on that today. Tomorrow we'll take up about Freddie and Fannie. Freddie and Fannie are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. And the idea of bringing more transparency to government, we'll pass a bill to make sure they are no longer exempt from FOIA, that anybody could be able to get the information dealing with Freddie and Fannie as we move forward. We'll continue to be able to fund this government, making sure that our military men and women have all that they need to not only protect this country but make the world safe. And I will tell you, walking out of this conference, I see great movement when it comes to health care. We'll continue to make sure we keep our promise to repeal and replace Obamacare to make sure insurance costs are lower and people are actually protected from pre-existing conditions.
Well, the last 2 weeks have been really good for members to go back to their districts and, again, hear from and talk to the people that actually elected us so that we can continue working for the American people to follow through on the things that are important to them, like getting the economy back on track, like getting the federal government out of the way in so many areas of their lives where people are hurting. Of course, one of those areas that government has actually been making it harder for families is Obamacare. With double-digit increases every year in premiums, with $10,000, $12,000 deductibles, with less access for good care. And that's why over these last 2 weeks, we've been working very closely with our colleagues all across the country to continue making progress in making sure that we're not giving up on the ultimate objective of repealing and replacing Obamacare. And the good news is a lot of really good progress has been made during those last 2 weeks. A lot more members are focused on getting to where we need to be. And so we're not going to stop working until we get that done. But in the meantime, we've also been working closely with this president. And I've been really encouraged to see the kind of commitment that President Trump has had on following through on the promises he made to the American people, getting our economy back on track, getting rid of regulations that are killing jobs in America. If you look at what's already happened, and of course we're not even at day 100. I know a lot of people want to already write about what the first 100 days have been like. The good news is a lot of really good things have happened in that first 100 days, and there's still more things that are good that are set to happen. But you just look at the economy. Over 500,000 new jobs have been created in this first 100 days. And the president set a tone of getting the economy back on track and helping create more jobs, including signing 13 different pieces of legislation into law that reverse bad regulations that were killing jobs in America, helping rebuild the coal industry, helping getting some of these other federal agencies off of the backs of American workers, signing and greenlighting the Keystone Pipeline. President Trump, with that one action of greenlighting the Keystone Pipeline, created tens of thousands of good jobs and helped ensure America's energy security. And of course, on foreign policy, President Trump has followed through on so many commitments. Number one, just making sure that we're enforcing our laws, securing the border, illegal border crossings down over 60%. So just upholding America's rule of law while also working with our allies. As you talk to NATO allies, and like the speaker, I was able to go and meet with some of our NATO allies. And, President Trump has encouraged our NATO allies to get up to that 2% level of GDP spending so that not only is America contributing to NATO, but so are the countries in Europe. And they've done that. They've actually responded. And you're seeing positive results there, too. And so I think you see a more cohesive working with our allies, again, to follow through on those promises that have been made and to create more jobs and get our economy moving again. And we're going to continue working with this president to get America moving again.
It's always important to spend time in your district, listening to people, hearing their concerns. It was great to have an extended time to do that. And overall, I would say people do want to see results. They see this as an exciting opportunity to really rethink this government from top to bottom. They also recognize that we must get this economy growing. We must create jobs, and we must get unleash innovation in this country. They're very pleased to see that we're rolling back the regulatory burden that has been suffocating our economy. As I listened and traveled around Eastern Washington, I held a number of coffees with Kathy and conversations with Kathy, whether it was with farmers or talking infrastructure or healthcare. People see this as an opportunity for us to think big, get the results, and I come back re-energized because of that. I am committed to making a difference for them, using this as an opportunity to really do the big things that the people want to see us done.
Anybody have any questions? Yeah, I'll defer to Kevin on the timing of the Choice Act. Reconciliation is regular order, just so you know. That's the regular budgeting process. But we want to look at every avenue, but we think reconciliation is the preferred process. We think that's the most logical process to bring tax reform through. Jeb Hensarling, Chairman Hensarling's marking it up. I think we're planning, once we mark up a bill, we want to move to the floor as quickly as possible. And that's basically the schedule. Yeah. Casey.
Is the White House overstepping their bounds here on tax reform, bringing
No, not at all.
proposal to you? And is that partly because of the failure of healthcare? Do they feel like they need to
No. This is something we've been talking to them all along. We had a very good meeting yesterday. Our committees, Ways and Means and Finance in the White House, are going to work regularly now to make sure that we get a bill together that's unified. We've been briefed on what they're going to do, and it's basically along exactly the same lines that we want to go. So what we see this is progress being made, showing that we're moving and getting on the same page. Wow, let's do that again. Progress being made. Yeah, right. Progress. Wow. That was you. Very interesting. So no, we see this as a good thing. Yeah, Mike.
Speaker, on healthcare, does the MacArthur Amendment get you the 216?
We think it's very constructive. So Tom MacArthur, as you know, one of the leaders of the Tuesday Group, also has a lot of experience in insurance, knows insurance markets inside and out, worked in high-risk pool kind of settings. So we think the MacArthur Amendment is a great way to lower premiums, give states more flexibility while protecting people with pre-existing conditions. Those are the three things we want to achieve. you got to remember, Obamacare is collapsing, and people are getting hit with double-digit premium increases. So whatever we can do to get those premiums down, but also make sure that the guarantee for people with pre-existing conditions is met, but give states, every state's a little different. We had a high-risk pool in Wisconsin that worked real well. They had a risk-share pool in Maine that worked real well. So we want to give the states the ability to kind of customize the reforms to maximize the ability to lower premiums and protect people with pre-existing conditions. And that is exactly at the heart of what the MacArthur Amendment does, and I think it helps us get to consensus. Susan. Oh, sorry. You're blurting out. I'm just not going to do it, Susan. We're getting really close. The administration, OMB, along with our appropriators, are down to the last final things. I think we're making really good progress. Obviously, CSRs, we're not doing that. That is not in an appropriation bill. That's something separate that the administration does. We're very, very close on everything else, and now it's just kind of getting down to the final details. That's not our intention or goal. We want to get this done on time. That's our plan. Thanks, everybody. We'll see. We'll vote on it.